Hey everyone, Bobby D here again, and thanks for checking in back over here at the BS Zone. Today, you may notice I've got some latex gloves on. Well, that's because I'm working on the ZX14. Took this bike out earlier and I realized I was getting a little bit of arithmetic pulse coming from the front end at higher speed. First thing I'm going to check is I think front wheel may not be balanced. Normally when I mount tires and I balance, I use one of the general wheel balancers that you can often find, a lot like this one right here. These are the kind you put a little rod right through, it runs off of your wheel bearings as well as some bearings on a roller, and it balances your wheel. Well, recently I picked up one of the Motion Pro wheel balancers. Now, this thing looks great. It folds up, takes up a little bit less room in your shop, and hey, it's just a new device, a new tool in the shop, yeah, play around with. So today what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna balance the front wheel on the ZX14, and I'm gonna compare and see if both of these balancers check out the same. So let's get at it. All right, so I've got the wheel mounted up on your standard wheel balancer. I've pulled all the weights off because I'm going to start from ground zero here. I'm not going to mess around, and I want to compare this wheel balancer to that folding Motion Pro balancer here. Now you can see the two units are a little bit different. This one just has one post. We're going to run this through the wheel. We're going to lock on this guy to keep it in place, and this has a bearing back in here and it spins. Versus this unit, we've got bearings right here on both sides. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna step back. We've got no wheels on here. I did wipe this wheel down with some denatured alcohol so the wheel weights will stick, but we're just gonna give it a little bit of a swirl. And we're gonna find the heavy spot on this wheel. Should settle down real quick, look at that. Definitely not balanced without any weights on it. And we're going to get that heavy spot. Let it go back and forth a little bit here. And once we identify the heavy spot, which is going to be right down here, we are going to go all the way to the opposite end and we're going to stick some wheel weights up on top until we spin this a few times and it really doesn't want to settle anywhere, anytime at the same place, meaning in general, this wheel is balanced. If we've got to use a handful of these weights, now I've got black ones here. I also have inside this package here, if I can get this open with one hand, I've got some of these weights spray painted white. So when I use on white wheels. So anyway, what we're going to do, I'm going to stick a couple weights up here. If I were going to use, we'll just say 4 of these, I would put 2 on this side and 2 on the other side to balance things out. I'm going to start out, I'm going to stick these on loosely and give it a spin. And when I know I'm pretty much where I need to be, I'll peel this backing off. It's a 3M, real strong stuff, and I'll permanently affix those. So let me pause this. We'll spin it around a couple times. I'm going to find out how many of these I need to use. See if this is balanced, get it balanced out well on this balancer. And we're going to put her over on this one and see if it checks out. All right, well, here we are. This wheel took a total of 5 1/4 ounce weights. So we've got 1 1/4 ounce on here. And if I give this wheel a slight spin, I'm going to try to slow it a little bit so we're not waiting all day. But in general, the wheel is now going to stop. You can see my weights right here. It'll stop with the weights right there this time. And I can spin it a little bit more. Let it go. The weights are staying here. Let her stop here for a minute. And the weights are over there now. So this wheel is now basically balanced out and should no longer give me that wobble or that pulsing sensation that I was getting based on this balancer. So let's take it off of here now. And let's put it over on the Motion Pro and see if it checks out the same. And all right, a little bit different setup from hooking the wheel on this balancer over to the Motion Pro. A little bit simpler setup. Sometimes this can get a little funky moving these around and you drop things. You do need to make sure to balance this one. And this stand as well, you would want to make sure you've got it level. So anyways, got this spindle. There's a bearing right there running right through the wheel. And we're going to come on over here. We're going to give this wheel a spin. And I'm going to slow it so we're not waiting all the time here. And let's see if it stops. We can keep our valve stem right there for a point of reference. Give it a little bit of a swirl. Let's see what she does here. Valve stem is stopping right here this time. Give it a little nudge and see if it wants to come back. Valve stem right there. And I'll give her one more spin here. And as you can tell, the balancing that we did over on the other stand here is really proven to be effective. So this wheel, we've got our weights right here, and don't mind all this garbage, crud corrosion. Another content there on why you don't want to use simple green on your wheels. But hey, there we go. We've compared the Motion Pro wheel balancer foldable unit to your standard dual post, whatever you call it, older school wheel balancer. All right, so not real scientific, not real complicated, and really not too expensive components if you're looking to add some tools to make yourself a little bit more self-sufficient when it comes to servicing your bike, if it's mounting your wheels or doing some balancing. Oftentimes, one of the most common things people get is this pulsing at high speed, and there's problems and they can't associate that and figure out what's causing it. They're chasing that down. Well, a Motion Pro wheel balancer really doesn't cost much. Under $100 you can find these things for, and it might help you be a little bit more sufficient in finding your own problems, getting your wheels all set up. Hope this finds you well. See you out on the roads.